This is the Greenup Beacon Video News Magazine, a presentation of the Greenup Beacon Media Group and First and People's Bank and Trust. Also brought to you by Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, Buddy Gallion and Greenup County EMS, and Carmen Funeral Home. The Greenup Beacon Video News Magazine is hosted by Brittnany Hoback with co-host Hank Bond. It is directed and produced by Keith Adkins. This is an exclusive presentation of the Greenup Beacon Media Group, available only at greenupbeacon.com and greenupbeacon2.com.
You are watching a Beacon Media production.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Greenup Beacon Video News Magazine. I am your host, Brittnany Hoback, and today we are broadcasting from the Russell Independent Board of Education office. We have a great show planned for you today, and first up, I will be interviewing Superintendent Sean Horne. We also have planned some segments where we'll be interviewing Tawnia Jones, who is a diabetes educator from Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital. Also, Sue Dowdy from the Ashland Tourism and Convention Bureau. Our entertainment segment will be from the international recording artist Rob McNurlin. And we also have a segment from the Russell High School Cheerleaders where Baylee Booth will be cheering with the girls, which is a really great thing since she was in a car accident that was pretty traumatic in June, and she has done a tremendous job at recovering, and she is back cheering with the girls, so this segment you don't want to miss. And the cooking segment from my kitchen today will be on sweet and spicy zucchini relish, so please stay tuned and we'll be back in just a moment.
First and People's Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and People's Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and People's Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
The fine people at Carmen Funeral Home have been working with families in need for over 100 years. Carmen Funeral Home offers compassionate and caring services to those in their time of need, from pre-arrangement to final arrangements. With 2 convenient locations in Flatwoods and Russell, Carmen Funeral Home, putting people first since 1913. The fine people at Carmen.
All right, we are back, and I'm here with Superintendent Sean Horne from the Russell Independent School District. And how are you today, Mr. Horne?
Doing very good. Before we get started, I would like to extend congratulations to the Beacon Group. I've had the opportunity to do some things with Mr. Bond, and I'm really appreciative of having the opportunity to speak about the district.
Well, great. Well, we are very pleased to be here. It's been nice to do this bit on the superintendents, to sort of learn a little bit more about what a superintendent does, and of course to visit all the different districts and to hear all the positive things that are going on, in the area, which has been really nice. Nice to do. So, how many years have you been superintendent?
This is my 2nd year as superintendent here at Russell Independent. First year went by as a blur.
Sure.
A lot of very exciting things that we'll talk about here shortly. But year 2, we're off to a running start, and things are going well, and very excited about a new year.
Great. Now, how exactly did you become superintendent? Like, what sorts of things did you do as far as what high school did you go to, and then college education, and then, of course, how did you get to this point?
It's an interesting path, actually. Graduate in 1992 at Russell High School.
Mm-hmm.
So, kindergarten through 12th grade. Left the district for 5 years, attended Berea College, ended up with my undergraduate degree there in education. Very fortunate to be able to come back to the area and send applications everywhere, and ended up at Russell Middle School.
Okay.
So, math teacher at Russell Middle School for 6 years. Decided I wanted to look into administration. 3 years in the Greenup County system in administration as principal. Very fortunate to have that opportunity. Came back to Russell, home. 7 years as Russell Middle School principal, and again year 2 as superintendent. So it's been an interesting ride, but I'm glad to be back home.
Sure. So you said that you did have your degree in education. So education was something that you were always interested in from the beginning.
Absolutely. Always wanted to work with kids. I've really enjoyed that. Started off really kind of focused on the coaching side of that.
Sure.
I did some coaching, coached a variety of sports, but my passion was working with teachers, and which obviously teachers are in the trenches with kids every day, and they have the most impact on our young people. So I feel like this new role, I'm kind of able to still have an impact on what's happening in our district.
Absolutely. So how many schools are in your district here at Russell?
Technically 4, but we went through a kind of a mission vision process in this past year for our district, and folks that ask me that very question now, I say 5, because we have our primary school, our intermediate school, our middle and high, but we're really putting a lot of emphasis on our vocational school.
Okay.
And being very fortunate to have the vocational school on our property. We do own that building. That building currently serves some students from Raceland, some students from Greenup County. But out of the 295 kids over there, that the technical school serves 265 of our kids.
Yeah, so a large portion.
A large portion, and have a new principal there. Mr. David Trimble came to us from the Boyd County system, which has done an outstanding job of getting some programs and things that we hope to do in the future. And we're looking to expand. The Board of Education is currently talking about an $800,000 project to expand in our vocational school, looking at health sciences. And for our students with the college and career portion of what's going on in the state of Kentucky this year, it's very very exciting to know that some of our kids could graduate from Russell High School with a CNA, and we're starting to expand that program. So we're really excited about what's going on at the vocational school.
And especially in the healthcare field, you definitely, there's job security there.
Absolutely.
You are always going to need the healthcare field, so that's something that is really beneficial. And also the vocational schooling is important too, because not everybody, I think, would benefit necessarily from a 4-year, undergraduate, traditional college approach. Maybe heating and air conditioning, welding, stuff like that is an important avenue to look into.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of jobs out there in those areas that I think people don't really think about.
And we want my goal for all of our kids is to have an opportunity, whether that be a 4-year college, a 2-year associates. Or you mentioned HVAC. We have an HVAC program over there that's growing.
Sure.
We have electricity. Current project on our campus right now at the football stadium. We've constructed a new concession stand. Our students have completely wired
Oh wow,
the
that's
concession
great.
stand. So we're really trying to look at programs as far as co-oping and giving our kids opportunities to be able to go outside of the school system and plug into some of our businesses and with some of our community leaders, and really kind of expand to have those experiences that you just don't get every day.
Not in a textbook, at least. That's the important part. Now, what are some of the district accomplishments? Because Russell is a pretty accomplished school district as far as being having several schools of distinction as far as proficiency levels and things like that. So, what are some of those different distinctions that your schools have received?
Last year, we were one of 3 schools in the entire state to be recognized from the Department of Education as a school distinction. Some different variables play a part of that. With state testing, they look at your achievement growth, your gap populations, college and career readiness, which ties directly into our vocational program. That's why we want to build that, because that's part of our assessment.
Sure.
We're not about the test, but it's something that we need to look at opportunities that we're providing our kids. Our graduation rate. We have one of the best graduation rates in the state of Kentucky. Very, very, very small number of kids leave our district and not walk across the stage. We're very proud of that. But last year, we were one of 3 districts in the state. There's 173 school districts in the state. We're one of 3 that had that distinction. Russell Middle School has been a school of distinction. Russell High School for the past 2 years has been a school of distinction. Our primary and intermediate school have been a school of proficiency. So very, very pleased where our schools currently stand.
Absolutely. Also, not only do you have that, in your math and your reading scores and things like that, but there's also other extracurricular accomplishments that the school schools have been a part of, like the Science Olympiad teams and the academic teams. Would you care to comment on a few of those?
Absolutely. Our Board of Education, we have talked a lot recently about budgets and trying to firm some.
Pharmacy is now offering patients compounding for their prescription needs.
To our kids Monday night at a regular board meeting for a tune of about $122,000. It's going to be dedicated to those programs. Really, really excited about that. Very appreciative of having a Board of Education that's supportive of those programs. But yes, our Science Olympiad team competed at nationals. That goes beyond the state of Kentucky. We're very proud of that. Our Governor's Cup, we were top 5 school in Governor's Cup. Our kids, a lot of folks call in and, what are you doing at Russell? Why are you different? How are your kids competing at that level? And the bottom line, our kids put in an inordinate amount of time as far as their studies, education, practicing. That stuff just doesn't happen. And our kids put in a lot of time outside of the course of a regular school day to be successful. And having so many qualified people as far as our teachers and folks from the community that chip in and is a part of that. So I really kind of feel it's just kind of a community-based, support, and it makes us very successful.
Sure. All right, well, we're going to go back to commercial break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
At Meredith Chiropractic, you will enjoy state-of-the-art chiropractic facilities and discover the true wellness lifestyle. Dr. Terry Meredith is a member of Great Doctors of Chiropractic and has helped many in the Ashland area experience natural healing without surgery or drugs. If you're looking for a skilled chiropractic doctor, visit meredithchiropractic.com, call 329-8158, or visit Dr. Meredith's office at 2120 Carter Avenue in Ashland.
Hospital, our patients are priority number one. For the 7th straight year, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital has received HealthGrade's Outstanding Patient Experience Award. The hospital continues to place in the top 5% of the nation for outstanding patient experience. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital says thank you to our patients for this People's Choice honor. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, on a mission of good health for you and your family.
All right, we are back, and we were just discussing some of the district accomplishments for Russell School District, and we had just finished up talking a little bit about Science Olympiad, and you were talking about how about the extra commitment from the students and the teachers and the community. And I know firsthand that I have a Science Olympiad kid at home, and it is as soon as Science Olympiad is over at the national level or state level or whichever, and we put up the contraption that he has built or whatever, that next day this whole process starts over again, and he is emailing Mr. Barnett with the new rules and the new guidelines that are coming out, and he drives us absolutely crazy. We love him to pieces, but I mean, this is something that these kids are, they are so excited about, and the teachers the same way, and we are running back and forth to Lowe's, and he builds prototypes, and then of course that one is scrapped, and then we build another one and another one. And a lot of money goes into these builds, and a lot of extra time goes into studying these things. And I know he went to Governor's Scholar Camp this summer and studied astronomy, because astronomy is one of his Science Olympiad things that he does. And so he was speaking with me last night about something about starburst, and of course most of the stuff is completely over my head, and I don't want to admit that to him. Right. But it's really fascinating to hear their excitement. because they're getting that at school, and they're getting that after school and with the teachers, and and it's neat to see that they're really excited about all that, and that it is all encompassing with the community, and so many other people are involved in that process. And of course, as well as the academic team and things like that, but also sports-wise, you have the dance team, which I think they're like 9 or 10-time national champions.
Yes.
Which is very impressive.
Same. On that side of it, those ladies put in a ton of time.
Absolutely.
Choreography. It's very detailed. Very proud of their success. They participate at our football games and our basketball games, and just great representatives of our school system. Tawnia Jones and her crew does a fabulous job with those girls, and they're really great role models and examples of what we can provide kids in our district.
Absolutely. And then also you have the choir, and then you also have the orchestra involvement there. And my daughter played a violin there for a while, which was something that she would have kept with, because I went to one of the orchestra concerts last spring, and they are just, especially the high school level, they have really progressed into, some just amazing musicians.
Absolutely.
Follow them all the way from this grade school,
And also
into the high school, which has just been a really impressive thing to follow. And again, with the teachers and the commitment they have there, has been a really nice thing to see. So I'm going to jump here into some core curriculum questions, because as a parent, I do have questions about that, and exactly how does core curriculum standards or guidelines, how does that start? Like, where does this process start?
Well, the Department of Education is where kind of those things start. I mean, you've probably read some things about the Common Core, and there's some of the surrounding states are having some issues with that. Core content has kind of guided the way for many years in the state of Kentucky as far as what kids are to learn at a particular level. The one thing that has changed drastically with the Common Core, which is not necessarily a bad thing, is that a lot of the concepts that let's just say were taught traditionally at a middle school in math, those things are kind of filtering down into the lower levels now. So the expectation is extremely higher. Our kids are being presented the material at a lot younger age, which again. I'm biased about Russell Independent Schools, but the things that we offer. I had a conversation with our high school principal, and we have almost 390 kids that's a part of some sort of AP class at our high school. So as this thing is constantly changing, I feel that we're constantly trying to adapt and meet the needs of our kids. A lot of folks around the state are struggling with that. We're very fortunate to be able to attract some of the best and brightest people to teach our kids, and their qualifications enables us to continue to push the rigor and make sure that our kids have what they need.
Sure.
So, that's just kind of an evolution of where we're at right now. Common Core is here, and
it's not going to change.
It's not going to change.
Now, as far as making these changes, do they change? It does change every year as far as the standards are concerned.
Currently right now, we'll use science as an example. They are working with the science standards at the state level. The science assessment this year will probably be a little bit different than what we have traditionally had in the past. Social studies is an area that, again, social studies is so large and there's so much content. The standards for that is changing. The state's done a nice job of trying to involve all the stakeholders. KEDC, or local cooperative, that they do a lot of training with the standards and what those look like and where they'll be taught and what the kids are supposed to be exposed to for those particular years. The folks that I would say have been the most stressed out, it's easy for me as superintendent to say, the standards are rigorous and they're very hard and this is what we're doing and this is what we got to do, is our teachers.
Sure.
Because that needle is constantly moving. And it is extremely stressful for our folks to make sure, especially at Russell Independent, where our expectations are so high, to make sure our kids are getting what they need.
Absolutely, because then you have your lesson plan, and then it seems like that lesson plan then changes.
Absolutely.
And then you're constantly trying to keep up with those changes and those new parameters, and making sure that your kids fall within within that guideline. So I'm going to touch briefly on school safety because, unfortunately, we live in a society now where, these school shootings and things like that are becoming more and more frequent. And it is a concern on parents' minds. So what sorts of drills and procedures does the school district have in place to ensure kids' safety?
Well, this is our 10th day of school, I believe. We've already had 3 lockdown drills in our district. Usually within the first 2 weeks of school, we try to do that. First for us, our first full week of school, we had a lockdown drill at our primary school, which we try to keep the primary to last, especially with those incoming kindergartners that haven't been exposed to that. Very, very nerve-wracking when we do those drills, but I think that we have been kind of ahead of the curve in our district. We have done those kind of drills that's involved health professionals, our law enforcement, fire departments for a long time. And so, the state, I kind of feel the state's kind of catching up with us, but, the bottom line, these things do happen.
Absolutely.
These are not more or less focused towards metropolitan areas and things like that. And, we want to make sure our kids understand the proper procedures and what's happening because, their safety. Their parents entrust us every day to be safe and do right by their children.
Yeah, and you can never think that that you're, like I said, that you're a school district or that just because we're in a small town that we're above it or or that it wouldn't happen to us.
Absolutely.
Because those sorts of things are just happening all over the place, and it's really sad that it's come to that. So let's just go ahead and close here with what are some goals that you have for your district here in 2014, 2015, the sort of things that you want to really hammer home here.
Well, a couple things that's taking place this year that's new. We are expanding our preschool program. We currently have 80 kids in our paid preschool right now, which we've increased that by a complete class. Our care preschool currently has about 33 kids. So, we're over the 100 mark. That was a goal for us. Next year, our third grade will move to Russell McDowell. Our third grade will be part of Russell McDowell. Our preschool program will go to the primary school. That made sense to us, having our preschool with our kindergarten. That way those teachers can collaborate. And for us, having a very strong preschool program is going to really kind of tighten things up for us in the future. That way our children can basically be in our school a year prior to that kindergarten year and get accustomed to procedures and expectations and schedules and be familiar with the building.
Sure.
Our vocational school, like I said, health sciences is a major push for us. We're doing a lot of cool things there. A lot of collaboration between the vocational school and the high school, vocational school and the middle school. So we're trying to expand programs there. Strictly from a testing standpoint, my expectation, I would love for us to maintain the title of a district of distinction. Us being, in a 95% or above in the state is where I would like for us to stay. I definitely do not want us to go back. So, we've raised the bar very, very high as far as that goes. Obviously, our athletic teams, our academic teams, we want to maintain. I said the board made a commitment to our academic teams the other night. We want to maintain our expectation there and continue to be successful. Athletic teams, I think a nice start for us. Soccer had a nice win last night. The girls with Ashland. Our football team opens up this Friday at Greenup. Boys golf is in full swing. Our cross country kids are in full swing. A lot of really, really cool things going on as far as athletics, and we hope all of those programs are successful. So, our new mission statement is, one student, one lesson, one day at a time. I think that if we keep that focus, and that's across the board, whether it be academic or athletic or being safe. I hope that we can maintain that level of expectation in our district, and it's been even though we're very early into this school year, it's been a great start, and I hope we can kind of continue that momentum moving forward.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and of course, good luck this year. Good luck in football this year, and we have seats that are very close to each other.
Yes, we do.
Our reserve seats are, so
yes, we do.
We'll be cheering on the Devils together. And again, thank you very much for your time, and we'll be back in just a moment.
First and Peoples Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and Peoples Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and People's Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
High School Cheerleaders and their coach, Miss Christa Campbell. And we've been filming some cheers and stunts and flips and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm going to talk a little bit with their coach, and then we've kind of had a little powwow here on the floor. We're going to let the girls speak a little bit. So, Miss Campbell, how long have you been the girls' coach?
Consecutively, this is my 5th year, and I started at the middle school and then moved up with my daughter, who's a senior this year. Overall, I think this is about my 9th year coaching cheerleading. I took a break in between, and I think I've been a cheerleader since I can remember.
So did you actually cheer here at Russell?
Yes, I cheered here at Russell. I helped with JFL teams when I was in high school, and I've just always been involved in cheerleading.
How many girls do you have here on the squad?
We have 17 girls. We have 15 here today. So.
That's a big squad.
Yeah, yes.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about tryouts, girls. And so what sorts of things that you have to do to try out to become a cheerleader?
We learned to dance and a cheer, and then to be on the squad we had to have a standing handspring and a round-off handspring.
Now, did you have like several days of camp in order to try out?
Yes, we had a week, and then the following Monday was a tryout.
How many girls were in the tryout?
17.
There were 17. Okay, great. So pretty much everybody sort of made the squad then. Okay, great. That's awesome. So do you guys attend any gymnastics camps or tumbling camps or anything like that during the month?
We go to Casey Dunn. Every Thursdays we go to Casey Dunn.
All right, so all of you go.
Yeah.
All right, great. Now, do you do that off season as well?
It's not mandatory on off season, but you can go.
All right,
It's
great.
recommended.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's good for them to take as a team. I think that they found taking as a team that they are more encouraging to each other. They see what others are working on. It pushes them to be better. And it's fun. It's team bonding during that time. So I think they really enjoy it for the most part.
And team bonding is important in cheerleading, especially whenever you see a lot of the stunts going on and you guys are up there putting a lot of the smaller members way up in the air. You have to build a lot of trust because you guys are up there and when you fall, you want to be able to depend on the people down there below you to catch you. So that's important. Are you guys going to any competitions this year?
Yes.
And where is that at?
They're looking at me because we haven't really gone to competitions in the past. Our plan is to go to the KHSAA competition. It is in Lexington. No, I said that wrong. It's in Moorhead.
Okay.
The UCA competition regionals is in Lexington. So those will be coming up. We're actually getting ready to meet with a choreographer who is going to put together a team that's specifically for our team, and we're going to do that here in September. So we're really looking forward to that. We've been building as a team over the last few years, and we feel like that we're ready to take that on, and just really looking forward to the fun that's in that competition.
So did you hire a choreographer outside?
Yes, we will hire a choreographer. We have in place to. It's actually through UCA, which is the Universal Cheerleader Association. It's kind of a side company that they have called V-Rock, and they have choreographers that will kind of do specific routines for the girls.
Did you guys go to a camp? Did you go to a UCA camp this summer?
Yes, we go usually to the UCA camp that's in Lexington. It's about a 4-day camp, 3 nights, and they spend a lot of time learning things that they can use throughout the year. But there's also some other things that they compete while they're there. They compete against themselves. They're evaluated, as they improve, and then they compete the last day against the other teams that are there. Last year we actually won the competition on the last day, and we also, which I'm very proud to say, were voted for the Leadership Award, which is something that is voted for by other teams that are there, and they basically asked them if you could be on any other team besides your team, which team would that be? And they voted for us.
That's an important quality to have.
Absolutely. The girls did great this year. We didn't win those awards. We did compete very well, and I thought they did wonderful. They basically dedicated their camp for cheering for Baylee, and he wasn't able to be there. And I was just really proud of their character that they had when they were there representing her.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about Baylee. Baylee's been a member of the squad for a few years, correct?
Yes.
And in June, Baylee, you were in a car accident, correct? And you suffered some head trauma, pretty significant. And you have certainly come a tremendous way from where everything started. And I'm just moved by the leaps and bounds that you've come. I mean, I really truly am. And I know that the community and these girls have really stood behind you, and it's just a true testament to your character and to the community, to the leaps and bounds that you've made. And so we're just really going to hand it to you. Fundraisers. I know you guys just had a car wash and spaghetti dinner for that, but also there is a Facebook page, am I correct? To sort of kind of follow everything that's been going on, and what is that called? Baylee's Miracle.
If you're on Facebook, you can go and ask to be a friend of that, and anyone can accept you, and she has a ton of followers. And it's just it's really followed her from the beginning on that. And, she's just amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome to see you out there.
It really is.
It really is. I saw a couple posts of Sarah. I mean, we were out here doing cheers and everything, and I was just like, wow. I mean, it's awesome. We'll get back to the cheerleading part of it all, so I can maintain career. So you guys got some pretty big games coming up. The football team is looking really, really awesome, and I'm very excited. I got to talk with Coach Maynard about the football team, and I know the community is really excited about what the boys are going to be doing. So, do you guys travel to away games? Yes. Okay, which is great. And you know, cheerleading is an interesting sport because it goes across many seasons. So it's not just football, and it goes into basketball. So it's a sport where you definitely have to maintain, discipline and conditioning over a couple different seasons. So that's interesting. I want to jump back to this whole camp thing because I know I saw on Facebook there was this banana thing. You guys are going to have to tell me a little bit about this whole banana thing.
Well, the fun thing first is they were getting ready at Camp 2, and that's who had the banana for that evening. And I turned to Tracy and said, I don't think we've ever won the banana, have we? And she said, no, we haven't. So I excused myself to the hallway to get a drink. And then I hear them announce that our team has won the banana. I walk in and you would have thought we won like a lottery or Miss America. I don't know. It was just awesome, but they were super excited. I think Tracy was in tears. She slept with the banana.
This was the first time Russell varsity has got the banana.
And it's really about their spirit. It's the essence of cheerleading, you know. I mean, it sounds so silly. It's literally a blown up, like banana.
Exactly. So,
but
we all signed it.
Yes, we all signed it. So it's forever marked with our girls. But it really is more about the essence of cheerleading, and that they displayed that at camp, and it's a huge honor to get that, to be chosen, because only 4 teams are chosen at camp. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys cleared up the banana thing. I wasn't real sure what that was all about. Thank you so much, guys, for sitting down with me and chatting. And of course, Baylee, awesome job that you've done, and I'm really glad to see you back here with the girls. And good luck this year with cheering and with your competition. That's great that you guys are going. I was a cheerleader myself, so I was bent on coming here and getting a segment for our show. So good luck, and good luck to the Devils this year. And until next time, I'm Brittnany Hoback. Because we had such a great interview with Superintendent Sean Horne, we are going to move the sweet and spicy zucchini relish segment to next week. And we are going to join my co-host Hank Bond up next with Tawnia Jones from Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital for a segment on diabetes education.
It's the only pharmacy in the area that is PCCA certified. We can provide you with hormone replacement, neuropathy creams, scar creams, pediatric prescriptions, and we can even help you with your veterinarian needs. If you have any questions, please call 606-834-1052. That's 834-1052. Stoltz Pharmacy in Greenup, Flatwoods, and Wheelersburg. More than you expect from a pharmacy.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
First and Peoples Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and Peoples Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and Peoples Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
Today our special health section is on diabetes and diabetes education, and our guest today is Tawnia Jones, who spells her name funny, but I will spell it T-O-N-Y-A. She is the certified diabetic educator at Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, and she's also a nurse with a master's degree and a few other credentials after her name. And so, Tawnia, how long have you been here?
I've been at Our Lady of Bellefonte for 25 years.
So you started when you were 6, right?
Yeah, right out of nursing school the first time.
Okay, not 6 then. The topic today is a lot more serious than that. Tawnia, we have about 61% of the general population, adult population, that is overweight. 25 million people are diagnosed diabetic, not counting the pre-diabetic people. So let's talk about how you start with people who are referred here for education, how you start at 0 with them.
When we get a referral on a patient, there's a lot of resistance to coming in for education at all. So that first contact is really convincing them over the phone what we're going to do. Most people think they're going to come in and we're going to tell them what they can't have to eat. And we need to explain that there's a lot that goes into managing diabetes, and it's not just related to food, but that we're not going to starve them. That's usually my first conversation.
And of course, you know, I am diabetic, and that is part of why I wanted to do this segment. Diabetes is a 365-day affliction. It is an illness. It does terrible things to your kidneys and liver and your eyes and your feet and your heart as well. But at the same time, portion control of food is where everyone needs to begin. They need to try to lose weight whether they're diabetic or not.
Correct. We do have a very high incidence of obesity in the country and in this area, and that leads us to have a very high incidence of diabetes as well. Portion control is a lot of what we teach. That way people can eat what we would say normal food. They can eat what they have available and not have to be as restricted as they think they're going to be.
Lack of exercise is a big problem. Of course, when you, as the affliction or the diabetes infests itself in you, you lose the ability to exercise. My feet are numb all the time, and so that's walking is difficult. But even minimum exercise is good for a diabetic.
Yes, we start people trying to get them to understand that if they could do a little more than they were doing the day before, they're making an improvement. There's a lot of guidelines about exercise, about heart rate, and sometimes it's overwhelming for patients. But we just try to get them to know there is something more that you can do, and we want you moving more than you did yesterday.
Let's talk a little bit about what diabetes is and how you first get it and what can cause it. Of course, there are 2 types of diabetes. There's type 1, which is a non-functioning pancreas basically, and type 2, which is called onset diabetes. So you can go from there. I just know what they are.
Okay, well, most of what we do here at the Diabetes Center is we do work with patients with type 2 diabetes because it is very sensitive to lifestyle change, and that's what we try to help the patients with. We do see adults and children with type 1, but type 2 is the bulk of our population here. To be at risk for type 2 diabetes, there are several risk factors. Some you can't change, your age, your family history. Other things you can. A lot of your lifestyle, smoking, your blood pressure, your cholesterol. Those things can help manage diabetes as well as prevent diabetes if you get them under control.
So what do you feel that the biggest cause of diabetes is in our society? Is it processed foods, lack of exercise, high-fat foods at the drive-through? And this is not in any way to offend anyone, but at the end of the day, they are high-fat.
I think it's all of those things. We are a very busy society. We are doing a lot more away from the home now than we did even when I was a child. Our kids are not as physically active as they were when I was a child. There's not as many meals at home. There's a lot of meals in the car, a lot of fast food, a lot of processed food at home. Also in our area, we have a lot of low income, and people come in here and they tell us we're going to eat what we can buy. So helping people try to make healthier options, what fits in their budget, is a big challenge. But I do think that what we eat and our lack of activity is really significant for us here, leading us toward diabetes.
What does the world of diabetes educator consider the correct amount of carbohydrates in a day?
That varies. I do have a CDE dietitian that works here with me hand in hand, and she meets with the patients individually to assess what they need and set their carbohydrates, not necessarily just per day but per meal, because with diabetes we want that consistency through the day to help the blood sugars stay consistent.
Of course, blood sugars overnight tend to elevate because you're inactive, and that's usually the first line of defense. If you are insulin dependent, they normally give you Levemir or Lantus, and then you go forward from there.
We try to target that morning blood sugar with those types of insulin so we can start your day well, so to speak, and then makes it a little easier to manage through the day.
Tawnia, I thank you very much for being with us, and we appreciate you being here on the News Magazine.
Okay, thank you, Hank.
Next up, we will have an interview with my co-host Hank Bond and Sue Dowdy from the Ashland Tourism and Convention Bureau.
Have been working with families in need for over 100 years. Carmen Funeral Home offers compassionate and caring services to those in their time of need, from pre-arrangement to final arrangements. With 2 convenient locations in Flatwoods and Russell, Carmen Funeral Home, putting people first since 1913. And today we're with Sue Dowdy, who is the Executive Director of the Ashland Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, among many other titles you've held in your life. But how long have you done this, Sue?
I have been the director here since 2002, so I guess 12 years.
You can remember that far back? How about that? Great. Sue, tell me just a little bit about what the basic function is of what you do here.
Well, the very basic function would be to promote Ashland, get people interested in what we have to offer, get them here, have them spend the night, and spend some money in our restaurants, in our exhibits, our venues, whatever you would want to call that, buy gasoline, and have a good time while they're also helping our economy.
So you have a lot of things that go on here year-round. You're involved in almost anything tourism that comes to town. Let's talk a little bit about what's next.
Well, coming up next, and I thought about this when you asked me to have a little chat with you today, and of course we're getting really close to Labor Day. And Labor Day in Catlettsburg particularly, that's their biggest weekend. And they have their big annual festival. You know, their parade on Labor Day morning is one of the biggest ones around, and actually serves as a political forum. It's become sort of like, not in the same
fancy
that's what I was going to say. So you will see every politician in that parade that can possibly get there, whether it's a local or a state or even a federal race. But those activities, Gail Salmons was in here this morning and trying to update us on what all is happening. But on next Thursday evening, on August the 28th, will be the mayor's reception. They always have that. They're really proud of that, and that will be at the depot that they've restored. And that'll be from, I believe she said, 5 to 8. And then they'll have other activities during the weekend. But on Saturday, particularly all day long, is the Recovery Fest that Rob Olden organizes, and that goes on like from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, so that's a big one. And then on Sunday they have a really nice community church service. But they have carnival rides, and they have a lot of vendors as well as food vendors, crafters, and what all. It's just a lot of fun in a hometown county seat of Boyd County, and do it in a great way. And then on Monday after the parade, there's a lot of local entertainment. They're on the front of the courthouse, and then that evening they have a huge country night planned with T.G. Shepherd, Gene Watson, and Mo Bandy. And then Julie Reeves, you know, our local Russell, Kentucky native, will be performing on that same stage before they all get started. So it's a big weekend in Catlettsburg, and we're all proud of it. And I brought this little sticker in for our little talk today because this is the achy sticker that everyone's talking about, and a lot of the cars around, and when you go to like Myrtle Beach or a vacation spot, you get a decal and put on your car, you know, where you've been. So this was designed by Vincenzo Frizzola, a local architect, and Area Advertising has been printing it up for us at a very reasonable cost. So we've already run out of our first 1,000, and we're getting our second shipment in. But for the Catlettsburg weekend, we're having CKY printed up for them because Boyd County actually has 2 cities, in case anyone has forgotten. We don't have as many as Greenup County, but we have 2. So we're going to do that in orange with a CKY and then Catlettsburg, Kentucky. So we're going to try to add a little bit of excitement with the stickers because we've had people just coming in and out constantly asking for the Achy sticker. So that's a fun thing. And then on Labor Day afternoon, I started this festival many years ago with Bruce Kraft of the Ashland Recreation Department, who has passed on now, but still work with the city, and they're the major sponsor in the Recreation Department. And we sponsor Labor Fest because every holiday that we can, we want to have a little fun, family-free entertainment that people can come to. So we started this little activity to honor the working people, and it's called Labor Fest, and it will be held on Monday at Central Park at the bandstand at 2 o'clock, and it will run for 3 hours. And I'll tell you exactly what all we do with that. We have free ice cream. It was my dream to have an ice cream social. So we have free ice cream, and believe it or not, we have everyone from children to people in their 90s, and there's something about ice cream in Central Park free that just, you would think you were having something really more special than what it really is, but it just tastes better, Hank. It just tastes better.
It kind of makes me think back at the turn of the century from the 1800s to the 1900s, where people would gather, and that was a big social event.
Oh, it is a big social event. And
even though you and I do not remember that. No.
I don't remember that, but I remember hearing about it and reading about it and seeing pictures. But people bring their lawn chairs, and we've tried to add a few little things. We have cornhole, and we have face painting for the children, and we have the balloon art for the kids, and all of this is free. Every bit is free. But in the past couple of years, we added cotton candy, because who doesn't love just to get a little sticky, a little sweet out in the last summer days of the year, and so that's gone over really well too. But we have door prizes. We have a disc jockey that comes in, and we honor the working people, and then we get into our little music fest. And this year, we're happy to use some of our local young people who participated in the Boyd County Fair Talent Show, which is now sponsored by Coca-Cola. It's called the Coca-Cola Talent Show. And one group in particular that I'll talk about placed second in their division, so they're competing this coming weekend on Saturday for a state title in the talent show. And that's called a little group, the Strings of Whites Creek, and they're all young. They're 18 and under. And two of the kids that are involved in that, their father runs the Appalachian School of Music out in Boyd County, and he also teaches at Morehead State in the Appalachian Music program. So that's pretty exciting. And then I met a young man also at the fair, and he was in the talent show, Danny McGraw. So he's going to be singing, and he's got this big old booming bass voice like Tennessee Ernie Ford, and he actually sang a Tennessee Ernie Ford song, so he'll be performing. And then Jesse Klein, who was on the American Idol last year, and I think he has hopes of being on again this year. Jesse's going to perform, and he also is at the Boyd County Fair. So, and then we'll have Eddie Rive, who's a local musician who entertains us. But, you know, people look forward to that, and we know it's not like having George Strait, but, you know, it's a good way to let our own people showcase their talent and all gather, and the families come and have a good time. So we've got that going. So we're really happy about that. And I looked through, and I don't know much about the Holy Family Festival, but that happens then that very next weekend after Labor Day at the Holy Family Church, and they have that big like yard sale, and they have inflatables and all kinds of good food and entertainment. So if we get to chat again before that festival happens, I'll try to find out more about that. But then the big one, and that's Pogue Landing Festival, which is now 20 some years, and it's always the third weekend in September. The streets of Ashland are blocked off. Everyone feels the spirit because it's fall weather, sometimes a little bit warmer than others, but we're hoping for a little bit of cool and warm during the day and a little bit cool at night, and people love that festival, and I've seen it grow, and I'm proud to say that I've helped it grow. I chaired that festival for about 9 years, but you don't get messy. If it rains, you're still on pavement, so it's not muddy. You might run into a little water, but it's easy to navigate, and that's what we see because we have so many children that want to come. Their families bring them in strollers. We have a lot of handicapped accessibility. A lot of people just don't feel like walking out when it's really hot. We have seniors that enjoy. So it's grown into a wonderful family fall festival, and the tent for the crafts is already sold out. It sells out each year before the next year even is thought about. And it's huge. It runs almost the whole block of 16th Street in Winchester. We have the Cone Fest, which is the skateboarders, and that's really grown. But one of the things that really started out with Pogue Landing was it was to be a heritage festival and celebrate our Eastern Kentucky Appalachian heritage. So the Fiddle Fest. And that's still going, and they're going to honor the lady who's worked with that for so many years from the college, Gail Fritz. And she's put a lot of time and effort into that Fiddle Fest. And so that always happens. They have a wonderful car show, motorcycle show. I'm probably leaving something out, but again, lots of local entertainment. Bluegrass on Sunday, community church service on Sunday. The Pogue Family Reunion, I don't want to leave that out because we have and we hold that right here in this office in the Convention Visitors Bureau. We have the Pogues who come in, they go over to the log cabin, they research their ancestry, and they come from all over. One fellow in Chicago particularly helps to organize that. But the big entertainment on Saturday night is Rodney Atkins, and everyone's getting geared up for it. So I could go on and on about Pogue Landing. It's huge. But I wanted to launch on into something that got saved. And I'll just say it just like that. Chili Fest, which had been successful and had a national, I don't understand all about Chili Fest, but I'm getting into it. But, you have to be nationally recognized to compete and get certain awards. And Cheryl Spriggs, who is one of our city commissioners, had chaired that for a number of years, and she couldn't chair it anymore, and some of the committee that had pulled it together were basically just tired, so it was in danger of not happening this year. So a bunch of us rallied together, and I'm happy to say that the American Cancer Society has taken that over under a lot of the leadership of Lori Bush, who I know is a good friend of yours and ours, Bronson Bush's mother. I think she's probably more known for being Bronson's mom than she is, but she's very active.
She is for being our friend,
right?
Right.
But she's very active, and of course she works for Dr. Jeffrey Lopez of the oncologists here in Ashland, but she and a group of her friends and the American Cancer Society here in Boyd County are going to take that over, so that will happen on the last Saturday of September in its usual spot on the parking lot adjacent to the Paramount, and that's always a lot of fun. You can buy your little cups of chili and go around and sample and vote and do all of that good things. So that's going to be, we're just happy that we say, I don't ever want to say goodbye to a festival because I think that's not in the best interest of everyone, and not only for the socioeconomic impact, but just for the sake of fun, giving someone else something else to do. I never believe it when people say there's nothing to do. I'm like, there is always something to do. And if you can't find it, you're not looking.
Sue, we'll talk again before Polk Landing Days.
That sounds wonderful. I enjoy it very much. Thank you, Hank.
Much. At Meredith Chiropractic, you will enjoy state-of-the-art chiropractic facilities and discover the true wellness lifestyle. Dr. Terry Meredith is a member of Great Doctors of Chiropractic and has helped many in the Ashland area experience natural healing without surgery or drugs. If you're looking for a skilled chiropractic doctor, visit meredithchiropractic.com, call 329-8158, or visit Dr. Meredith's office at 2120 Carter Avenue in Ashland.
Rob McNurlin.
Here's one. Here's my second favorite song by my first favorite songwriter. Sit and wonder why, babe. If you don't know by now, ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. It'll never do anyhow. Your rooster's a crowing at the break of dawn. Look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Well, it ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, like you never done before. Ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, 'cause I can't hear you anymore. I wish there was something you could do or say to try and make me change my mind and stay. But we never did too much talking anyway. So don't think twice, it's alright. Turning on your light, babe, that light that I never know. Ain't no use in turning on your light, babe, 'cause I'm on the dark side of the road. I'm thinking and wondering as I'm walking down the road. I once loved a woman, a child, I'm told. I give her my heart, she wanted my soul. Don't think twice, it's alright. Now so long, honey babe, where I'm bound I can't tell. Goodbye is too good a word, gal, so I'll just say fare thee well. Now I ain't a say you treated me unkind, you could have done better, but I don't mind. You just kinda wasted all of my precious time. Don't think twice, it's alright. Thank you all very much. How about a hand for Aaron Tatterson here picking the Telecaster guitar? This is Mr. Les Worley on the stand-up bass. Well, I'm gonna tell you people, tell you what's a fact. I'd be happy with a red run-down shotgun shack. I'm gonna tell you people, gonna tell you what's a fact. Well, now I'd be happy with her living in a run-down shotgun shack. Well, she said she loved me, I believe she do. She didn't need no more George on the Conqueror, Lord. She said she loved me, and I believe she do. Well, she didn't need no more George on the Conqueror. She got a body but uses her head. Been memorizing every word the good book said, Lord. She got a body but she uses her head. Well, she been memorizing every single word the good book said. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright now, Mama, any way you do. Yeah, my mama, she done told me, Papa told me too. Said, son, that gal you going where she ain't no good for you. Well, that's alright, that's alright. way you do. Going down to Louisiana, get me a mojo hand. Lord, I'm going down to Louisiana, gonna get me a mojo hand. Gonna steal all the women away from those men. I got my mojo working, but just don't work on me. I got my mojo working, but it don't work on me. I wanna love you so bad, I don't know what to do.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and we really hope that you enjoyed our show. We want to extend a special thank you to our guests, Superintendent Sean Horne from the Russell Independent School District, Tawnia Jones from Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, who is the diabetes educator, Sue Dowdy from Ashland Tourism and Convention Bureau, and our entertainment segment was brought to you by Rob McNurlin, and we want to apologize in advance for a little bit of a technical difficulties we were having with the video there. I think the sound was good, but some of the high definition video was a little bit glitchy, so we apologize for that. Also want to thank Christa Campbell with the Russell High School Cheerleaders, and want to really draw attention to the fact that Baylee Booth was back with them and cheering, and she's made tremendous strides in her recovery, and so we're really glad to see her there. I'd also like to thank my producer, Keith Adkins, and my co-host, Hank Bond, for some interviews today. And remember to tune in next week for segments with Ryan Arnett and Firm Fitness at the Bellefonte Pavilion, and Lonnie Winters with L Massage, and he is also located at the Bellefonte Pavilion. And also remember to put on your aprons, because we will be showing the sweet and spicy zucchini relish recipe segment. So remember, you guys can find us every week at Wednesday at 1 p.m. on greenupbeacon.com and greenupbeacon2.com. Till next week, I'm Brittnany Hoback.
This is the Greenup Beacon News Magazine, a presentation of the Greenup Beacon and First and People's Bank and Trust. Also brought to you by Stoltz Pharmacy, Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, Carmen Funeral Home, Meredith Chiropractic Office, and Tanya Pullen, State Representative. Your host today, Brittnany Hoback, along with co-host Hank Bond and editor and producer Keith Adkins. This is an exclusive presentation of the Greenup Beacon, greenupbeacon.com, and greenupbeacon2.com.